And but anyway, that's how you fix problems like that. So oh yeah, in case you're wondering, that texture on her shirt is it's actually kind of interesting. It's a picture called Night and Day by an artist named MC Escher. If you don't know who he is, then you really kind of shouldn't be calling yourself an artist. The guy was a true genius. And what was cool about this is that I never really lined that texture up with her shirt, like with the with the UV maps like you're supposed to. I just basically was looking for an image to put on her shirt, so I just picked that, and it just happened to fit perfectly. So there's one more one more example of how brilliant that man was. It just worked perfectly as a texture without me having to do anything, and so good on him. But anyway, that's kind of irrelevant. But I just wanted to give a little nod to an artist that I highly admire. So moving forward, so now all the calculations are done. We're going to want to set up for our render. So a couple things I should point out. I have the thick hair selected already. Under the Properties tab for your hair prop, by default I have Visible in Ray Tracing turned off. I find that with that turned on, though, you can get really nice shadows. Like you can actually have the individual strands of hair casting a shadow onto the skin if you're using a light that has ray tracing. But it really increases your render times. So by default I turned it off, but if you want to use it, then it's right there. Just under Properties, Visible and Ray Tracing, you just check that little box right there. But I'm going to keep that off right now because I just have the default light set into my scene. I've included 5 color options with the hair. Now, like I said earlier, the cap is the only part that's actually a figure. So the other way to think of that is that it's basically the root of the whole system. So if you want to make any changes, like if you want to unconform it from Victoria 4 for whatever reason, or change the textures like I'm about to do, then you want to make sure you have the cap selected first. And so under your Poses folder, again, you'll have a folder called Joe Bushido. So this is actually my Joe Bushido working folder here. So you can see I got about 800 million folders and things. But under there you'll have a folder called Dynamic Cloth Hair. And in there you'll find your 5 color options. By default it's set to color 1, which is like a light brown. There's also a darker brown. I'll just pop in real quick. Let me zoom in so you can get a better look at this. So there's kind of like a darker brown. And it's not just brown, there's like other colors mixed in there. It's predominantly brown. That sounds better. And then there's of course like a charcoal black type of color, and which is actually probably what I'm going to use for this. Well, actually no, I'm going to keep it on brown because I forgot this is a video and you guys need to see the textures. So there's black. I put in a dirty blonde color. Dirty blonde was just easy to make, so there you go. There's dirty blonde, and red, and like the red, like the brown, it's not just red. There's other colors mixed in there as well. So I'm just going to keep it on color 1 for this because it pops up a little bit better in the video after it's all rendered and stuff. So yeah. So before you render, you just want to go in. You want to go into your render settings. So render settings, and I'm going to put this up to final. And you want to make sure you have smooth polygons turned on under your render settings. And that, if you get any kind of jagged, crazy looking hairs, smooth polygons will kind of smooth them out and give a much more kind of natural flow to your image. So so yeah. So I'm just going to use this angle here, and so we can get a nice look at this hair to see how it turned out. So I'm going to hit render. So now the reason I included 2 versions of the hair, well, I should give you an example. If you're like this pose, like I said numerous times already, is a pretty simple, just kind of standing there pose, and we got pretty lucky this time that I only had to do the calculations for the hair once to get the image I want. I'm sure you'll find in your own experimentation that you're going to end up running through the cloth calculation a couple of times before you get an image you like. And if you're working with a high-res hair, that time can add up, and before you know it, you've spent like 3-4 hours just trying to get something close to an image that you like. So if you find yourself doing that, like running through the calculation numerous times, then it might be best to just kind of switch to the low-res hair, simply because it takes a lot less time to calculate. And and ultimately that'll save you more time. And because the low res hair actually works really well, you might find yourself just using that more so than anything, like I do. Like, you know, I'm the guy who made this. It took me, like, this is, well, what you have in your runtime now is the end result of about a year's worth of trial and error for me. And so, you know, this is me, the voice of experience, saying that low res hair works great. I usually end up using it more often than the high res. So, you know, knock yourselves out with that one, and I'm sure you guys will be happy with the results. Now, like I said, like the high res hair is good for tweaking, like for well, like if you have the hands coming into the hair, that's basically all I use it for. Is if her hands are interacting with her hair, then I'll use the high res. Everything else, low res, works fantastic. So now you can see our render is coming through here. You probably can't see it in the video, but I'm looking at this right now, and I can see a couple hard edges. The way to think about this hair is that the way it's constructed is basically there's about 400 or so ribbons of geometry, and like I said, there's two props. There's a thick hair and a medium hair. With the medium hair, those ribbons are just a little bit narrower, and as a result of that, you get like you get a lot more diversity, like in the direction of the hair. There's diversity in the texture, because the textures on the medium hair are just a little bit different than the thick hair. What was I going to say? Crap, I lost my train of thought. But anyway, you can see the render is just about done here. And yeah, oh yeah, the hard edges. Yeah, like I said, they're the ribbons of geometry, and because we don't have self-collision turned on, those ribbons will kind of pass through each other, and as a result of that, where that occurs, you'll get these kind of hard edges. And like, you can't really see them in the video right now, but when you're looking at like the actual high-res image that you render, you will be able to see them. However, to fix them in Photoshop is, you know, a piece of cake. It takes like, you know, 2 seconds to run a brush over them. So, you know, I don't find it a big deal, so hopefully you guys won't either. You can see in this image here that the hair kind of passed through her ear. The hair and the ear in Victoria Ford's ear, they don't get along very well. So the fact that it passed through the ear instead of like bouncing off and doing crazy things like it does sometimes, that's actually a really good thing, and I'm happy about that. And again, you know, that's a simple tweak in Photoshop. So, you know, I'm not going to lie that though the hair is to my standards, it's still not perfect. I'm calling this version 1 of this hair. In the future, I might make a version 2 that's like absolutely flawless, that you guys won't ever have a problem with. But that version doesn't exist right now. So dynamic cloth hair version 1 has some collision problems, but they're not. I don't find them too terrible, and so hopefully you guys won't either. So so with that, that is basically it for the basic setup process for the dynamic cloth hair. So what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to stop. Well, I'm going to stop here for the basic setup, and but I'm gonna continue forward, and I'm gonna start setting up the wind force generator, so you guys can see how to work with that. However, I'm gonna include that into a separate video. You can find that wherever you found this video. Hopefully, it's on YouTube. I haven't uploaded anything to YouTube yet, so yeah, so stay tuned for that. But as far as the basic setup is concerned, I hope you guys found it easy to work with and easy to understand. So you know, good luck with it, and I look forward to seeing what you guys produce with it. So yeah, enjoy.